Okay, we're going to have a look now at pollution, and basically we're going to have a look at the impact the human population is actually having on the atmosphere. Now, obviously, our human population is growing, and you need to learn this word. It's called exponentially. And what that means is, if you looked at a graph, you would see that all the way along with the human population, it kept quite stable until we got to about the 1800s. And when we got to the 1800s, we improved our healthcare, our housing, our education, all of those sorts of things, and the numbers of human population shot up massively, and that's why it's called exponentially, because it shoots right up. Now, the highest rates, believe it or not, are actually in the undeveloped countries, and this is, again, it's still because of better farming methods and things like that. But the problem with that is, if you've got a massive human population, it means you need to have more and more resources in able to sustain us. Okay, when you actually take the resources from the earth, it means that you can cause more pollution. When you get rid of the waste products, you cause more pollution. All of these things keep building up. You have landfill sites that are being filled up. You have water systems, factories, mining, quarrying, taking the resources out of the earth. Now, obviously, if we keep doing this as a human population, there will not be any resources left. And it's not like you can go into space and go to Mars and go to, I don't know, the iron shop and go and buy another load of iron metal or aluminium metal or gold or anything else, because it just doesn't happen like that. Once it's gone, it's gone. So we need to have something called a sustainable development, where we actually, if we cut down forests, that we replant forests. The problem now is that we are producing a lot of pollution. You have carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. You also have methane as a greenhouse gas, and water vapour. Now, you'll see I've just put up on here, you also get CFCs from aerosols, which have led to the depletion of the ozone layer. This is a common misconception with students, where they get confused between the greenhouse effect and the ozone layer. So please be very careful. When we're talking about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about the greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane and water vapour, building up layers over the atmosphere. The problem is that when the sun's heat energy comes into the earth, then it bounces off the surface of the earth, and some of it will go back out into space, and some of it will bounce back down and keep our atmosphere warm enough for us to survive. Because we are releasing more and more fossil fuels, greenhouse gases, through the burning of fossil fuels, it means that we are making these layers of gases thicker around the atmosphere, and so it means more and more heat is bouncing back down to Earth and is actually warming the planet up. And there's big problems, because they think that all the snow caps at the poles are going to melt, causing water levels to rise, and for more land to flood. Now, don't confuse this with the ozone layer, because the ozone layer is there to stop the UV rays from coming down onto the earth. Now, about 20 years ago, when people didn't realise how bad CFCs were, all the deodorants had got CFCs in them. So you can imagine everybody spraying deodorants every day meant that a lot of CFCs were being released. They're also released from fridges as well. And so it meant all of these were going up into the atmosphere and destroying the ozone layer, causing it to have holes in it, which meant that the ultraviolet radiation could get through, and meant more people were getting skin cancer because they were being exposed. So please be careful with those two. Okay, and there's a picture of a skin cancer. Not very pleasant. Now if we look at other pollutions that we cause, we've got sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides. Now these come from the burning or combustion of fossil fuels. Okay, the effect this has on the environment is that it dissolves in the rain to form acid rain, which then damages the plant leaves. It acidifies the lakes, it changes minerals available in water supplies, and can cause people to have bronchitis. Okay, so this is a problem. So you can see here where acid rain has actually eroded this particular statue. Okay, and then you have forests where acid rain is just destroying them, and then that destroys habitats as well, and changes the acidity of different conditions. Now scientists use a lot of these organisms called indicator species, and what this means is you've got certain species of insects and plants that live in certain conditions, and if scientists look and they can't find any of these particular indicator species, it means that there's pollution. An example of this is something called the rat-tailed maggots. Rat-tailed maggots are adapted to survive in water with very little oxygen. They have a long tail-like tube which is hollow. It acts like a snorkel, allowing the maggot to breathe in air containing oxygen from above the polluted water. Other species indicating polluted water are sludge worms and the water louse. The mayfly larvae are found in clear water. Lichens are another indicator species. Burning fossil fuels releases many chemicals into the air, including sulfur dioxide. This causes air pollution, which reduces the variety of organisms that can survive in the area. Lichens are one group of living organisms that act as indicator species of air pollution. Some lichens can cope with high levels of pollution and are found in cities. Other lichens cannot grow there and are only found in areas with clean air away from cities and motorways. They are great indicators of the level of air pollution in an area, as they live in the environment for a long time. However, lichens are not present in all areas we want to test. So this is an example of an indicator species. If you've got organisms that live in clean areas where there's no pollution, and you go to that particular area and that particular species is not there, then it means that there is pollution.